Welcome to the Lost and Foundry Show, where we do a deeper dive into the stories of the men and women serving to the Foundry and those that have been impacted by the permanently transformed lives. It's exciting to hear the heartbeat of the day-to-day of what goes on at the Foundry and hear the inspiring stories of people that God is using in a tremendous way. I'm John Rowland. I'm the Chief Development Officer at the Foundry Ministries. I love serving here. It is my joy to be a part of the team. Today, this week is a great week for us. We're gearing up for our biggest women's fundraising event of the year. It's called Hearts of Hope. On Tuesday next week, February 26th, we are going to be having a luncheon at the club. And it's always a wonderful time where we get to hear stories of women's lives that have been transformed. Graduates of our program, family members. This year our theme is 1,000 generations, where we're really studying and hearing about how one woman's life, how one person decides they are going to make a change, and then how that change then impacts the rest of their generational line, impacts their mother, their daughter, their children, their spouse, everyone around them, how that one life transforms their whole family. We're looking forward to Hearts of Hope. We have 41 tables pledged, and we have 400 people have let us know they are coming. We're very excited about it. And so today we are going to be talking to the director of our women's program, Tawana Pendley, and excited to hear from her heart about how God has led her to the Foundry and how God is using her in a tremendous manner here with the ladies. Tawana, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, appreciate you being here. We've spoken before about some things, and just wanted to hear your story. Would you tell us about how God brought you to the Foundry, when you started, and what's kind of kept you around?
It's a good question. It's a great question. When I was 18 years old, I really was lost and apart from the Lord, and was really dealing with some drug and alcohol issues myself, just kind of lost in that lifestyle. So fortunately, I was able to just give my heart to the Lord. You know, I asked Jesus to come in. He totally changed my life, and I had always really had just a passion for hurting people. I knew that I wanted to do something geared towards helping others. And so I had an opportunity to go to college and get a degree in counseling. So the month that I finished college was the month that I started at the Foundry in May of 2004. And so I've been here since then, started as a counselor, about a year later became women's director, and I truly felt like I found my passion. You know, I related to the ladies here because I had gone through so many similar things growing up that the ladies here face, and so it wasn't just coming into something, you know, looking down on anybody, but I really felt a connection, and I felt that maybe some of the things that I had walked through that the Lord had delivered me from or just walked me through or helped me to overcome, I felt like I could maybe be a help to those that were still struggling with some of those things. And so that's really what's kept me here as well, is just knowing that, you know, every day you can be maybe just a small piece, but just a piece to the puzzle for the women that are struggling with addictions.
I know the story that you and your husband, David, worked together here at the Foundry for many years. Tell us about that.
That was really great. We really did good together. He was the men's director and I was the women's director for 12 years. And so, you know, people would always ask us, like, do you just go home and talk about the Foundry? No, we don't. We work together. We do those things here. But it was great because we were always on the same page, just always had the same passion for what we did. So I really enjoyed the time that we were able to do that.
Awesome. Tell, if you would, for those watching, tell us about the women's program, that maybe those that they don't know anything about it and they don't know the length or the cost, or if you would share the story of what it takes to get here, intake fees, and who to call, and what that whole process is. Also, what makes the Foundry Ministries women's program unique?
Okay. Well, our program is 12 months, so it's a long-term, Christ-centered program. We really are geared towards women who are truly in the depths of addiction. if it's recreational use or something like that, this is really not the program. But for the ladies who truly have a dependency every day on drugs and alcohol, we are the program for them. So it's only $4.95 to come into the program. It's really simple. They've made it easy where you can just go online to foundryministries.com, fill out an entry assessment, and someone will be in contact with them within 24 hours. And so a little bit about what the program offers. We have weekly counseling. We have small groups, we have morning classes, evening classes, we have an incredible mentoring program. We have great volunteers that come in and just serve the ladies and minister to them in different capacities, and resource center so they're able to get back up on their feet, after a while of being here. One thing that we do that seems to kind of set us apart is we have the Genesis process, which is a relapse prevention curriculum that we incorporate into their weekly counseling and into their weekly small groups, that it really helps them to see what is it that keeps you going back to addiction, and what are some of the things that you can stay away from, as you progress down the road of recovery. What are some things that they can look for? So that particular study really seems to help a lot of our ladies here. And one thing that really sets the Foundry apart, I believe, from other programs is we really invest in the ladies, and we work really hard to show them the love of God and to show them how much they're cared for from their first day experience when they walk through the door. We want to have eye contact. We want to hear your story, know where you're from. We want to pour into you. And we have an incredible women's program staff here.
Oh, definitely.
That is going to do that every single day and be consistent in that every day. We try to give that one-on-one attention to each lady and attention to detail, because everybody's story is so different. And so we're really able to hopefully do that here.
And then I know the Employment Readiness Program is very important to what we do. How does it help the women succeed upon graduation at the Foundry?
Employment Readiness is a big part of what they do. One of the things that's really unique about the Foundry is in Employment Readiness, the supervisors there aren't just supervisors. Many days they're talking them through issues. They're having to relate the business with the program side. So it's a lot different than just coming into a business. You're truly coming into a ministry that has business functions. And so the work readiness supervisors are incredible. And the work that they do, we're able to kind of teach them that it's the life skills that they're learning. It's not just coming in and doing a job that's meaningless. It's actually teaching you how to live again, how to function again, how to get up and be productive every day, how to be on time, how to have a good attitude, how to work with others, all the skills that they're going to need to be a productive member of society.
Awesome. Since you've been here since 2004, what are some success stories that come to mind of women that have really experienced permanently transformed lives?
There's so many that come to mind. We've seen so many different things restored with different ladies from their marriages, their children. One in particular that sticks out, one of our ladies, she was from Selma, and she and her husband had been estranged for 4 or 5 years while she was in her addiction. She was addicted to methamphetamines, and he would come every week and bring her children, and she would have nothing really to do with him. Well, by the end of her program, they had been restored to a place where they were able to renew their vows.
Oh, wow.
And I still see them today, and I think they just celebrated their 25-year wedding anniversary. So they're still together. Their kids are doing great. So stories like that really stick out. I think about one of our ladies that works at our dental center. She's been on staff there since she graduated, and she's actually in school to become a nurse now. And
wonderful.
She's had her own apartment. She's had custody of her little girl since she's graduated, and she is really just loving life and loving being sober. And I know without the Foundry, that wouldn't have been possible. So to see women who came from having no hope and just feeling hopeless and feeling like they would never be restored to their families again or to their children again, to see them restored and have hope and have that connection again and that restoration again, that's just a couple of the many stories that I think about with the ladies.
What encouragement would you give to those that are watching today, whether that is a spouse, a mother, a family member, or the person themselves that is just trapped in addiction and that is hopeless? What encouragement would you give? What hope would you give those that are watching today?
Well, first of all, I always tell the ladies, if there is breath in your body, there's hope. Because, unfortunately, we encounter that here where I say, hey, some ladies never had the opportunity to even make it to our waiting list, to make it into the program. They passed away from their addiction. So if they have breath in their body, there is hope for them, absolutely. And I think the first thing, one scripture that comes to mind is John chapter 5. And, in that chapter, there's a man that sat by a pool, the pool that had healing. The pool had healing powers. And when the angel would come down and stir the water, the man for 38 years had a choice to go and get in the pool, and he never had. So when Jesus came on the scene, Jesus asked the man, he didn't pick him up and put him in the pool to be healed, but he asked him an important question, I think, that people struggling with addiction, and we all have had to ask ourselves the same question, but it's, do you want to be healed? And so for the ladies that answer yes to that, they're in addiction, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, and they truly are ready to be healed, there is hope. And I would encourage them to reach out to a family member, reach out to a church, reach out to a friend, let somebody know what they're going through, let somebody know about the addiction that maybe they've kept secret, maybe they've hidden from the people that love them. And more than likely, the people have already noticed that there's something wrong. But a lot of times in addiction, you just stay in hiding and you stay in seclusion because you don't want people to know, or maybe you don't want to stop. But for those that are truly ready and who want to stop, there is hope for them. But reaching out is taking that first step, whether it's calling the Foundry, call the Women's Center. We will talk to you. We talk to families all the time, and sometimes it's family members that maybe they don't know, is my daughter really in an addiction? We've noticed some things that have changed. We notice things that are different. Her behaviors seem different. She's not always showing up for work or whatever. And so sometimes we're able to help guide those parents just in maybe having an intervention, or maybe asking them a little more questions to try to see where their loved one is. Sometimes they bring the loved one here for us to talk to and just kind of gauge, where they are and what they're really going through. Or you can schedule a tour to come see the facilities if the Foundry is something that they've realized, yes, she does have a problem and she needs help. We'll give a tour, we'll sit them down, talk to them about the program. So I think the first step, whether it's a family member that's noticed a loved one that could be struggling with an addiction, or if it's that lady that's in addiction, the first step is just letting somebody know, whether it's family, friends, church, calling us.
What's that number to call here?
It's 205-425-7737. That's our number here at the Women's Center, and any of our women's program staff, is happy to talk with them. And sometimes you just need an ear to listen to, because sometimes we don't even know about ourselves. Maybe you can't commit to a 12-month program, but there's other resources. We're not just all about getting you here at the Foundry. We're about people being set free. And so maybe we can connect them, to some other resource. And of course, then if the Foundry is a fit, we can get them here too. Awesome.
Also, if there's a lady that's listening today that may not have a family member in addiction and they may not need help for themselves, but they want to give back. They want to get involved. First off, what are some needs that you see here within the women's program, and how can interested women that want to invest their time, how can they get involved?
That's a great question. There's several different ways that they can do that, and I know sometimes people say, well, it's cliche, we need you to pray for us. We genuinely need your prayers. Like, we're, on the front lines of this thing, and the ladies that are here really need your prayers. So prayer is a huge one. You can give of your time. There are ladies that may bring a meal to come give a word of encouragement or lead a devotion, or maybe they're in our mentoring program. We have an incredible opportunity for ladies that are interested in helping, maybe one-on-one. We actually pair them with one of the ladies in our program, and they just come once a week and carry her out to eat somewhere and just share that one-on-one time. It's really valuable to the ladies just to get somebody on the outside, that can, kind of like a life coach, that can just encourage them. Financially, obviously, that's a great way to give. If they have the financial means to give, that's an area where we always need help, to keep everything running, to keep the lights on, so to speak, we need that.
That's great. And volunteer, you can go to our website. There's a volunteer link there.
Yeah, foundryministries.com again. Fill out the volunteer application, and that goes to Erin Bentley, and she will let me know if it's something within the women's program that we can make a connection on. She notifies me, and we get together, and we will plug you in if you want to help in any way. We will.
Tawana, any last words, any last challenge that you give those that are watching, that they're not alone, that there is hope?
I would just say, if there's anybody that's just truly struggling with anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be addiction. I know there's people that deal with depression, there's people that have anxiety, there's people that are overcome with fear or hopelessness. Maybe you've lost your job and you can't see even through to the next day. I know that there's ladies we talk about that are trapped in human trafficking. You're prostituting, doing things like that you never thought you would find yourself doing. There's just so many things that life throws at us, and my heart genuinely is we don't want to see those ladies just left alone. We're not intended to do life alone. We're intended to do life as a community, and there are people here that want to help. There are people that want to be a word of encouragement for you. There are women I have found that have gone before you. They've traveled the journey and they've overcome, and they're at the next place where they can give back and maybe help pull you out of the depths of despair or whatever it is that you're battling. So for anybody that's find themselves in any of those places, we don't want any lady to do life alone, because we're not intended to do life alone. There's people that are here to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Tawana.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. If you liked what you heard, please be sure to like us and share the content of this podcast, this interview. We'd love for you to put it on your account and let everyone see and hear Tawana's heartbeat and hear about the Foundry. We would be honored and grateful for you to do that. If you want to be involved further than you are now, go to our website, foundryministries.com. And it's a great opportunity to give your resources, to sign up and volunteer, or find out more information. Maybe you have a family member that you believe that maybe God could really do a great work in their life here at the Foundry. Maybe your company would like to get involved and have partnership with the Foundry, in the idea that your company could be part of the solution, the homelessness solution that we face, the opioid epidemics, many of the issues that we face here at the Foundry. We would love to partner with your company. Thank you for joining us. Hope you have a great week, and I'll be excited to hear what God is doing in your life.